Hey everyone, welcome to the ranking. Here's my ranking of Chris Evans' movies. Yes, Chris Evans is a very talented actor, and he's been doing movies for quite a while. Well, since the early 2000s at least, and I really enjoy his movies. Not all of his movies. He has made a lot of crap. When you look at all of Chris Evans' filmography, you notice he's done a lot of shit movies. And I also noticed I've seen every one of his movies, so I thought I'd rank his entire filmography. Yes, I'm going to rank all of Chris Evans' movies. So there's a lot. There is 19 movies. I think I left out one or two because I don't count them, but I'm going to rank very quickly all 19 of Chris Evans' movies, from my least favorite to my favorite. So yeah, I'm not going to be going into depths about these movies. I'm just going to say them, talk about them for a few seconds, then get to the next one because there's a lot of movies to talk about. So yeah, let's get started. Here's my ranking of Chris Evans' movies from my least favorite to my favorite. All right, coming at number 19 is the movie London. London is a movie that came out in the early 2000s, and it's an awful piece of shit. Not only is Chris Evans god-awful in this movie, and not only does every dramatic scene fail across the board, but Jessica Biel's in this movie, Jason Statham's in this movie, and they're all just terrible. Dane Cook is also in this movie. It is so stupid, it's terrible, horribly acted, horribly directed. London is hands down the worst movie Chris Evans has ever acted in. Coming number 18 is Not Another Teen Movie. Yes, Not Another Teen Movie is one of the stupidest spoof movies out there. It's not worse than Meet the Spartans or Vampires Suck or Disaster Movie, but it's up there. This is a really stupid movie. As you saw my top 10 worst teen movies, this movie is really, really dumb. This movie is satirizing all the teen movies like Pretty in Pink, She's All That, and all that. It's a stupid movie, incredibly unfunny, and Chris Evans, I can't believe this is his first movie because this movie is absolutely garbage. Not Another Teen Movie. Well, it should be called Not Another Spoof Movie, because we don't want them. Coming number 17 is Fantastic Four 2005. This is one of the worst superhero movies out there. Fan Four Stick is just as worse, but he wasn't in that, but he was in this monstrosity of a movie. He plays Johnny Storm. That could have been a pretty cool casting choice, but yeah, Tim Story directing the movie, so you're gonna get a crappy movie with some bad action, horrible storytelling, and some really stupid and very dated special effects. I hated this movie, hated the entire cast, and this movie is just stupid, and I hate it. Coming number 16 is What's Your Number? Yes, this is an Anna Faris movie. What's Your Number? It's basically about a girl. Basically, she slept with too many guys, so she has to settle with the next dude, and that's Chris Evans and stuff. And this movie, I felt like Chris Evans was like forced to do this movie. Every time I've watched this movie, which is twice, I feel like he just doesn't even want to be in this movie. I feel like they're like holding a gun to his head saying, you better read your lines, you better read those lines. And yeah, it's an incredibly dull, unfunny, unoriginal movie. Anna Faris, Chris Pratt, and of course Chris Evans, all awful. Coming number 15 is The Nanny Diaries. Yes, him and Scarlett Johansson. Yes, before their MCU days, they had The Nanny Diaries. And it sucks. I love Scarlett Johansson, I love Chris Evans, but they're both completely wasted in this really sappy, formulaic, stupid comedy, drama, romance movie. Hated everyone in this movie, didn't like the kid actors, didn't like the two lead actors, I didn't like how this movie was written or directed, I just didn't like this movie. It's a very forgettable movie, because I only saw it once, like 8 years ago, and I don't intend on remembering a lot of scenes from this movie, because it's a terrible movie. Number 14 is Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Yes, this movie is not only a piece of shit superhero movie, but it ruins two amazing comic book characters, which is Silver Surfer and Galactus. Silver Surfer is just this wimpy character, and Galactus is a big fart cloud. It's bad enough that they ruined the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom, but they had to ruin these two as well. God damn it, Fantastic Four. Some people hate this movie more than Fantastic Four 2005, but I don't. I think Fantastic Four 2005 is a worse movie, but this movie's stupid too. This is a 2 out of 10, that's a 1 out of 10. They're both fucking terrible movies. Coming number 13 is Street Kings. Yeah, Street Kings is actually a movie that a lot of people do enjoy. It's not that bad, but it's trying very hard to be like Training Day and stuff, and it's just failing across the board. There's a few action scenes that are actually pretty cool, but honestly, I didn't like it. I thought Keanu Reeves' performance was very forced. I thought Forrest Whitaker was over the top. I felt like Hugh Laurie just didn't want to be there. I felt Chris Evans was incredibly underused. The Game was barely in the movie. Common was too much in the movie, and he was only in one scene, but that's enough for Common. And I'm just not a fan of this movie. I really didn't like it. There are some fans out there, I'm not one of them. Come number 12 is Before We Go. Yes, this is the movie he wrote and directed himself and starred in it with him and Alice Eve. I saw this movie last year, didn't intend on reviewing it because I saw it too late, and there's nothing much to say about this movie other than it's kind of a pointless movie. There's nothing really inspiring about this movie. There's nothing about this movie that's funny or romantic or deep or moving. It's just a very forgettable, boring movie. And yeah, I love that Chris Evans directed the movie, but it's sad that it was this movie. Come number 11 is Puncture. Puncture is not an awful movie, but again, it's a very forgettable movie. I saw this movie when it came out, and I remember I liked Chris Evans. Chris Evans is very good in this movie. The ideas and premise are pretty cool, but it's just horribly directed and horribly executed. There's some writing issues, pacing issues, the entire supporting cast just doesn't work. Chris Evans makes this movie watchable, and that's what this movie is. Watchable. Not good, watchable. Coming number 10 is TMNT. Yes, TMNT, again, I did my ranking of the Ninja Turtles movies. I'm not a fan of this movie. The animation I don't really like. I think it's very cheap looking. I do like that the Ninja Turtles actually feel like the Ninja Turtles, but it's just not, I'm not a fan of this movie. The only Ninja Turtles movie I like is the first one, and Secret of Ooze is kind of a guilty pleasure, but yeah, this one I don't like. Yes, Mako and Kevin Smith and Sarah Michelle Gellar and Chris Evans are all in this movie, but you just don't give a shit. Coming number 9 is Cellular. Yes, another movie with Jason Statham and Jessica Biel, but also Kim Basinger. This is a very cool, taut, tense thriller movie. Honestly, I really liked this movie when it first came out years ago, but now watching it, it's very dated, and it's not as good as I remembered it was. Like, when I first saw this movie, I think, what was this movie called? 2004, 2005, I think. I really liked it. I thought this was a really cool, awesome premise and stuff. It's very dated. It doesn't hold up as I thought it would, but there's some okay performances. Kim Basinger is fine. Chris Evans is fine. There's some pretty cool, thrilling moments in the movie, but it's not that great. It's not very original. It's nothing that you have to go out and see, but, you know, it's a fun popcorn movie. If you just want to stay at home, watch a movie on your TV, it's an okay movie to watch. Coming number 8 is Avengers Age of Ultron. I'm not going to talk about this movie. I did a review of it already, so I'll leave a link down below. That was my whole review of Avengers Age of Ultron. Go to that review, come back to this video, you'll see what I thought of it. I really liked it. It's a good movie. People gotta stop hating on it. Coming number 7 is Sunshine. Yes, a Danny Boyle movie. One of my favorite Danny Boyle movies. It's no 127 Hours or Trainspotting, or Steve Jobs, but still a really good movie. Very underrated sci-fi movie. I think this movie would have been much lower on the list if it didn't almost fall apart in its third act. Its third act almost turns into like a horror movie, but the first 2 acts is such a visually stunning movie, a very captivating movie with some really good, interesting characters. Both Chris Evans and Cillian Murphy are both fantastic in this movie, and I love Danny Boyle's direction. I just think the third act, I still enjoy the third act, but it really falls apart a little bit, and it's tonally inconsistent, so this movie would have been much better on my list if it wasn't for that sloppy third act, but all in all, I still really like Sunshine. I think it's a very good, interesting, and very underrated sci-fi movie. Coming number 6 is Captain America, the First Avenger. America! Yes, I love Chris Evans. He was a perfect choice to play Captain America. Again, I think this movie's almost underrated now. A lot of people actually think this is one of the worst MCU movies. I completely disagree. I think it's a very fun, entertaining movie directed by Joe Johnson. I thought Chris Evans was a perfect choice to play Steve Rogers / Captain America. Sebastian Stan, Haley Atwell, Hugo Weaving is great as Red Skull. I think everything about this movie is just a lot of fun. That's what The First Avenger is. It's a fun movie. Coming number 5 is Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer, what an awesome movie. This movie uses shaky cam, just like the Bourne trilogy, a shaky cam as a style. It's such a well-crafted, well-directed movie about this society all living on a train, and basically about the low-class society moving their way up to the high class and fighting them and getting to the high class and taking over the train and stuff. It's such a cool premise, such a cool idea, awesome action movie with some amazing performances. Chris Evans is so good in this movie. So good. So is John Hurt, Octavia Spencer, Jamie Bell, Tilda Swinton's amazing in this movie. I love the action, I love how it's directed, and I just love this movie. The premise alone should sell you on this movie because it's just awesome. Coming number 4 is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Amazing movie. It's not only an amazing action movie and also an amazing superhero movie, but it's also a great spy movie. It's so well done. The Russo brothers can do no wrong. They just directed this movie so perfectly. I love the villain of The Winter Soldier. He's like the Darth Maul of the MCU because he's not in it all the time, but when he is, he's so badass. Sebastian Stan did an amazing job. I love Robert Redford also in this movie. I love the spy element. I love how this movie is crafted and directed. Chris Evans is back. He's awesome. Scarlett Johansson's great. Samuel Jackson's great. Everyone in this movie is great. Even Frank Grillo is great in this movie. I love the action. The action is so well choreographed and so well done. Captain America: Winter Soldier was one of my favorite MCU movies, but then a few other movies came out and beat it out, but all in all, it's an amazing movie. Coming number 3 is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Yes, not really a Chris Evans movie, but he is in it as one of the 7 evil X's. Lucas Lee. Yeah, it's cool grind, bro. I'm planning on going for the Oscar next year. I love this movie. This is one of my favorite Edgar Wright movies, next with Hot Fuzz. It's such a fun, entertaining movie. It's a comic book movie, too. Michael Cera and Mary Elizabeth Winstone are both fantastic as Scott Pilgrim and Ramona Flowers. I love the story of this movie. I love all the actors who played the 7 evil X's, but I love Lucas Lee, played by Chris Evans. He does such a good job of playing this really douchey, over-the-top villain. It's just so funny. He's hilarious in this movie, and I love this movie. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is such a visually creative movie, and people just need to see it, because it's a bit underrated, but I think more and more people are watching it, but still a little underrated. Coming number 2 is The Avengers. Yes, The Avengers is one of the biggest blockbuster superhero movies of all time. It's so good. All the characters are there. Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Thor. Everyone's there. Nick Fury. Everyone's fantastic in this movie. Joss Whedon, the King of the Nerds, wrote and directed this movie fantastically well. He's so good. Tom Hiddleston is the villain. Loki is amazing. The action scenes are amazing, especially in the 3rd act. But it's also a very fun movie, hilarious movie, a very well-written movie. I love all these characters and how they all interact with each other, become a team, and become the Avengers. It's just a badass movie. It's one of my favorite movies of the MCU, and it's my 2nd favorite Chris Evans movie. And my number 1 favorite Chris Evans movie is Captain America: Civil War. Yes, this movie just came out this year, but it's probably my favorite movie of this year. I'll leave a link down below to my review. I did a whole review of Civil War. I don't need to go into depth about it. Everyone knows I love it. Everyone knows this is like my favorite movie of the year, and it's my favorite Chris Evans movie. So yeah, that's my ranking of all of Chris Evans' movies from my least favorite to my favorites. So yeah, in the comment section below, please tell me, did you grade this list? If not, give me all your rankings of all of Chris Evans' movies from your least favorite to your favorite. Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.